said talk to me, damn it, or else I'm gonna throw you in the fire!
You stupid bitch! You filthy... Flyover State of Fear. Welcome back to Flyover State of Fear. I got another great guest for us. I got the second or first half, I don't know how to refer to you, Alan from Werewolf Ambulance, a horror comedy podcast. We've had Katie on twice. Thank you for joining us, Alan. How you doing?
I'm good. I'll take second half all day. She's the best part of that show.
Yeah.
So yeah. Katie's fantastic.
I don't know. You guys like. I was kind of tired. The balance of the two is it's just nice. It's a nice day.
Oh, thanks.
Part of my day, like two of you laughing, and I think I told Katie in the last time we recorded. The hard part about us recording a podcast is that when I do listen, you want to send like a message and be like, "Why'd you cover this?" Like, I wish I wrote notes down for this to bring up on air.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't. I don't want to be questioned about my choices.
No. I got it. I don't know. What was the last one you just dropped? Was it Orphan?
Oh, Orphan. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I had some like, you guys were pretty spot on. So. But hey, it's all good. How are you? How's it going? What's I mean, everyone knows what Werewolf Ambulance is, but what's
do they? Oh,
I don't know. I do.
I'm good, man. I'm the podcast is going great. I couldn't be prouder of what we've done for the past 8 years. I'm #blessed, as they say.
So for any new listeners on the show, we do I like to learn about I guess horror origin story, and kind of, Alan, like, how'd you get into horror movies or like that in general? Like, what's your origin story of that? And kind of like, and I know you like horror movies because you're here, but I do spin it as like, it could be how you're not into horror movies as well. It's like, what got you here today?
So my two earliest horror movie memories are watching Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein when I was like 6 years old, and it giving me horrible nightmares. Just, I was terrified Bela Lugosi was going to kill me.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
But and it's still one of my favorite movies. I love Abbott and Costello because I'm 1,000 years old. But I didn't see it in the theater. I'm not that old.
No.
But so I grew up like watching. I've always been attracted that we watched Dark Shadows when I was a kid, and then when I was like 10, I want to say 10 or 11, my dad woke me up at midnight and he was like, "Oh, you've got to come see this movie. It's The Thing from Outer Space."
Ooh,
the 50s movie.
Yeah.
So he puts it on and promptly passes out. And I watched John Carpenter's The Thing as an 11-year-old with no one to like bounce off what I'm seeing.
Wait, this is John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah,
Thing from Outer Space.
Yeah, my drunk dad thought it was The Thing from Outer Space from the 50s.
Okay, all right.
And it said it's.
Because I was going to say, how appropriate of, you were in a John Carpenter-esque world today, and then that is terrifying. 11-year-old.
Yeah, but I loved it. I was on board, and since then I've just been like, as we say on Werewolf Ambulance, I've been chasing that scare dragon. I want that level of like intense, because that movie is gory and tense and terrifying, and
it's just that atmosphere. Because that's actually the lost episode of this show too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Someone recorded it like episode 2,
Okay.
And the internet connection was just there. It was nothing. Couldn't salvage. So anyway, one day I will redo that episode.
That is if you're listening to Werewolf Ambulance and we say next week we're doing John Carpenter's The Thing, that's the final episode of the podcast.
Yes.
We have decided that.
No, there's plenty.
Because what do you say about that? Like I have like all I would do is go, it's so good for an hour.
You know what? That's me with this show turning everyone down. Who's like, I'll do Nightmare on Elm Street, and I'm like, no, I don't. It's not the same level as The Thing, but for me it is, and I'm like,
sure,
no.
yeah. Well, that actually ties into this movie because I was like thinking about like, this remake of The Fog. Like this is somebody's like scare dragon. It's somebody's like the first time they saw a horror movie was the dude from Smallville chasing CGI ghosts.
I'm like. I'm shocked I didn't see this movie because it was 2005. I would say from 2004 to 2006, me and my best friend saw everything in the theater. I mean, we would go because it was like we were of the age where I think 2004 more, maybe even 3. So maybe I'm off. Maybe we were kind of done with like going every weekend by 5. But like, we would go and we would say, "Oh, we saw? Let's see this." Blah blah blah. And I'm shocked like this didn't make it into that run because we were of that age, like not quite. Kind of like we were probably like 11, 12. We could go downtown and be like, "We're gonna leave you alone for a few hours."
Yeah.
I'm 30, so like whatever you want to do the math there with.
Yeah, I'm 48. I was just thinking I was a full-blown adult.
You were a full-blown adult. That's okay. That's totally okay. That's all right.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
But yeah, so I was shocked when this is my first watch too. But yeah, so like we would go see the silliest one I saw. I was thinking of this. Imagine 2 12-year-olds going to see Something's Gotta Give, Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton sitting there and like thoroughly enjoying it in the theater, being like, "Oh, what a lovely time!" And then walking home telling our parents, and they're like, "Huh?" So, yeah, but no, yeah, seeing The Thing as an 11-year-old is kind of like, I think, you know what, I could see an 11-year-old also not getting it too, like being like, "Oh, there's some spooky parts" because it's so atmospheric.
Yeah, but it's so like I was also reading like horror comics.
Yeah, you were.
And so like it was like it's very comic booky. Like Rob Bottin's character design for the monsters is very like EC Comics, like bright colors and twisted faces, and
it's great.
Yeah.
Did anything did anything after that pull you back a little bit, or did you like at that age, like or a little older, dip your toe in too far?
No, I remember things like Amityville Horror scaring me around that age.
Yeah.
Because I still had that, that ingrained Christian fear of the devil coming to get you.
Sure, I'm not religious at all, and
yeah.
Exorcisms, of that still they're still the scariest to me.
Yeah, I mean it's like it's in our cultural DNA to be afraid of that stuff. So I don't think anything until this could have been 10, 12 years ago when I saw Martyrs for the first time.
I still have yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the movie that I can think of that like I had to turn off and be like, you can get through this. You can do this. And then turned it back on and watched the rest of it.
Jeez. Yeah.
Because that's a brutal movie.
I've only heard. Someone was like, I get former guests, they were like pleasant. I said the same thing. I said, yeah, I kind of have no interest. And they were like, no, you gotta. And I'm like, someone takes it one day, sure.
Yeah, I don't know if you've gotta, but it's a well done. I mean, I own it on DVD, and the beginning of the DVD is the director saying, "I'm sorry, I made this."
You know what's fun? So, we have in Princeton Record Exchange. It's just your record store
Oh, sure.
DVD, and I saw Martyrs in there like a year ago.
Yeah.
Blu-ray, and it was $100.
Oh,
It was
wow.
resale. It wasn't worth $100. They didn't want you to buy it. It was $100. I have a photo on my phone somewhere. It was $100, and it said, "No one should buy this." Well, and you need 2 forms of identification. Like it was clearly like whoever threw it in the bin, like put it in there as a joke.
Yeah.
It's 100, and I remember tweeting it out, and someone being like, "That movie's $20, and you could buy it from Walmart." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" So yeah, the extremist stuff's not really my bag. Some of it's good. I mean, some of it, a good movie's a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of that. What is it? The French new wave of horror or whatever that came out around that time, around this time, I guess, early 2000s, around the time that we're talking about this movie.
Yeah,
like High Tension and Them, and these really interesting, gory horror movies. But yeah, that one's just Martyr's just brutal.
That's what that was your anything that deals with like rape or assault or anything like that's so hard to, and then when it's graphic, it's just so hard to watch.
Yeah, I remember like when I like. Yeah, at one point I was like, I'm into horror movies. I've got to watch all the classics, and I Spit on Your Grave and Last House on the Left, and I was like, I don't have to go that far.
That was me.
Yeah,
that was me about that. Like I was like, I'm into horror movies. Let me do it. It was like probably high school, maybe middle, maybe like going in, and I was literally going to mention Last House on the Left because I remember like, yeah, we gotta, and going not the country music and everything. I was like, not for me. My big breaking point when I was like, oh, I like this stuff around your age or the age you were saying of the Thing, and I mentioned it too many times, so I won't. Is I was like, yeah, I could laugh at horror movies now after seeing the Dawn of the Dead remake, and like it was fun, and we were like, ooh, it's scary and fun. And then like I cruised for like a month, and then I watched Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses, which I just at that age I was like, this is disgusting. This is brutal. I'm no thanks. And I've revisited it like recently, and I was like, it's fine. It's not for me. But
it's a mean movie.
Yeah, that's what it was. And being like, probably being 12 and going, I'm gonna laugh.
Yeah, yeah. Although in retrospect, you do get to see Chris Hardwick have the shit beat out of him, so it's not that bad.
Fun. Yeah, and he's like bloated too, so he's like even like, yeah. No, let's save that clip. But speaking about a bloated Chris Hardwick, a dead bloated Chris Hardwick, is you picked The Fog, which full disclosure, I've never seen the original.
Okay.
And
you're wearing that T-shirt. You're produced by Deborah Hill T-shirt. And
thank you for calling this out, because I put this on after I saw. Well, I bought this for a friend, and it's a Halloween font produced by Deborah Hill, and they sent 2, so I now.
Oh,
have
nice!
One.
Congrats.
Thank you. And when anyone gets it, you're out. I'm like, you're cool.
Yeah.
So yes, I have not. I was going to watch the original Fog today, but I didn't. So I didn't do the thing of just comparing the 2.
Yeah. You're for the better for not doing that.
Yes, I almost did that to you.
Yeah.
And you would have been like, that was great, but we're here to talk about 2005.
I mean, I can talk about the original. I have a bumper sticker on my car for KAB San Antonio Bay.
Okay.
And much like your T-shirt, I'm waiting for the person to be like, cool bumper sticker.
Yeah, that's a deep cut.
That's a deep cut. Yeah.
Or you could tell someone's a poser, be like, I love that station. Was in the Bay Area. So yeah, but no, I actually love and before we begin, I'm going to read 2 synopsises this time. I actually love that you picked a movie like this, because I think you and Katie, actually, I won't penalize her for Fire in the Sky. I think she was trying to pick something scary. Picking 2 of the more of my 30 so guests or so far, picking things that you just kind of more want to rip on and talk about.
Yeah.
You pick that, and that's always so much fun, because she picked Halloween 3 originally, which I do like, speaking of Deborah Hill. She didn't. Yeah. And anyway, so all right. So I like to read the synopsises because I've not read them yet because I grabbed it right from Google and it usually does not get it right,
Sure.
or it's very vague. So this
Yeah.
is straight from Google. The Fog, and it, yeah, I could. The Fog is a 2005 American supernatural horror film directed by Robert Wainwright and starring Tom Welling, Selma Blair, and Maggie Grace. It's a remake of John Carpenter's 1980 film of the same name. It was produced by Carpenter and Deborah Hill, who co-wrote the original film. That doesn't tell me what this movie is. So
it's all facts, though.
It
They're
is
not lying.
facts. It is facts, and that's the reason why I like to read them, because when we did Scream, it was like Scream, a movie by Wes Craven. It was a cultural phenomenon, and it was like great. So
people wear shoes.
So the synopsis though is the film tells the story of a strange fog that sweeps in over an island town off the coast of Oregon, bringing with it the vengeful spirits of mariners,
Yeah.
who were murdered with 134 years prior. The townspeople find themselves trapped and fighting for their lives while discovering the truth of their dark history. I mean, technically, that's right.
Oh yeah, no, that's it.
So, first and foremost, why?
Why? Which what?
Why'd you do this?
Oh, because I wanted to talk smack on it.
Cool.
Because I love the OG. Like as you probably have guessed, I'm a huge John Carpenter fan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at a poster of John Carpenter just to my right.
Yes. Thank you for calling the Deborah Hill shirt out. Yeah. I'm a fan too. Fog's just one that's escaped me.
I love it. I love the original Fog. It's very much like harkening back to that EC Comics, like it's very like slow burn.
Yeah.
It's fun, and it's got like a really great cast of like Tom Atkins and Hal Holbrook.
I did not realize Tom Atkins was in that one. My
Oh
darling.
yeah. Tom Atkins fucks Jamie Lee Curtis in the original The Fog.
You know what? Deborah Hill and actually more Deborah Hill probably. She just loved putting Tom Atkins in things for him to just the pipe.
I love how furious people get at him being a sex symbol.
he's my sex symbol. I love Tom. Like, I think I mentioned on in Halloween 3 episode with Katie, it was like Tom Atkins in that movie is just, there's no redeeming quality. He's like an older drunk man who's a womanizer,
an older drunk doctor, who goes to work as a doctor drunk.
Yes, and he's just pulling. So now I gotta watch The Fog now because Atkins game rise up.
I mean, you watch him in The Fog, Halloween 3, Night of the Creeps. He's amazing in Night of the Creeps.
Night of the Creeps. That was actually one of our first episodes on our main show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You probably shouldn't listen to that episode. That's probably episode 2 out of 4 years ago. 2 or 3. But actually, I regret, on a mini Tom Atkins rant, not getting the Night of the Creeps Scream Factory toy they made.
Oh, okay.
When they released them, and it's Atkins with his trench coat, and like he has like a Miller Lite and like cigs and like a shotgun.
Yeah.
And now that toy's like $650 or something.
Oh wow.
On, like resale. So
I got to see him speak before. I think it was a showing of The Fog. I can't remember what movie it was.
Cool.
Because he's a Pittsburgher. He lives in Pittsburgh, where I also live. And he was amazing. He was wonderful. He was everything you'd want Tom Atkins to be.
Good. Yeah. I'm so happy to hear that. So you just weirdly blew my mind not realizing that he was in the original Fog. And I probably Googled it today, the original, and I was so out of it today.
But yeah, I picked this movie just to talk shit on it.
Good. Okay. I think there's a lot of shit to talk. I was trying to explain this to friends because I get together with a group of friends like basically once a week to watch movies like this, like bad horror movies, and like more so like Sci-Fi Channel, like Sharks of the Corn. But like sometimes we'll dip into this mid 2000s realm, and I was like, guys, maybe not this week because I can't watch this movie twice in 1 week.
Oh my god!
But like one day, like this is a full disclosure. I think this is like probably a perfect drinking game movie because there's so much stupid shit and rules you can make.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Like when the
Um,
plot just stops making sense.
yeah. Well, but like the first big thing was like when he picks up the girl, the love interest. She just like I'll wait, but like she's just walking with no purpose then, because then she just follows him the rest of the time. What was her mission?
She was seemingly just waiting on the side of the road.
Yeah.
In a Newsies cap for no apparent reason. And because in the original movie, Tom Atkins picks up her character, who's played by Jamie Lee Curtis, who's just a hitchhiker because it's 1980. But in 2005, what is a hitchhiker? Like nobody hitchhikes in 2005.
And especially how they like, yes, especially how they set up this town too.
Yeah.
Like that was like the real big like, huh? So, I only grabbed like kind of 3 fun facts from this, and one's not even fun. Unfortunately, this was Deborah Hill's like last movie to get her name on it because it was
such
World
a
Trade
bummer.
Center, but like, and like she clearly had somewhat of a hand in like production because she passed right before filming.
Yeah.
So that's very sad and like just a bummer because she was a great producer.
Yeah. And writer.
Is and what? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Tom Welling's character Nick Castle is supposed to be the Shape, Michael Myers. Nick Castle. Literally, I didn't even need to read the fun fact about it. I was like, oh, Castle fishing or whatever the first day, and I was like, that has to be. And then I went on to IMDb, and then John Carpenter, does his famous like, yeah, remake it. I make money. He goes, I came in, I tell everyone to go home, and that's all. That's his contribution to this.
I assume the produced by is just give me a paycheck.
Oh, that I just know that from his like Halloween stuff. He's like, great. You want to keep making Halloweens? I do not care.
Yeah. I will do it in perpetuity. Yeah, that's fine.
Like, oh god, yeah. And Halloween Kills is going to be or ends. It kills both terrible.
Who knows? The last one was awful.
Terrible.
But actually, on the Nick Castle fact. Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
The Dan the Weatherman character in the OG was named Dan O'Bannon, who, as you know, is the writer of Return of the Living Dead and the original Alien script.
So they kind of kept that
right, and they were like, and he worked on Dark Star with John Carpenter, which is their college movie that they made.
The big like beach ball running around.
Yeah. So like, I love that. Like Night of the Creeps is a great example of that, where it's just like everyone's got the last name Hooper, or like it's just all their friends' names, and like, and this movie was like, we'll just call him Dan the Weatherman. It's fine. Who cares? Fuck it. I don't know who that is.
That is very much this movie. So this movie does start off with like, I wrote, and especially of that time, it's Pirates of the Caribbean. It's trying to pull that like first Black Pearl, Curse of the Black Pearl. It's a lesser budgeted version of that like pillage scene in that first movie. Yeah. And it's so poorly shot. You don't really know what's like happening. It's just like, no pun intended, or I don't know pun, but like fog everywhere and like shit's dropping, but it's like, all right, old timey. It's what it reminded me of the Pirates movie.
Yeah, for sure.
And but yeah, and then like we get right into peak 2005. You get a Fall Out Boy, Sugar We're Going Down, Needle Drop, and I was like, all right, I'm in. This is my like, this is me. This is us growing up.
Let's just set this film in amber. Let's just put it exactly in the time period it comes from.
And I'm like, okay, cool. And immediately I'm like, oh, are we gonna have that? Which is a trope I'm realizing. The radio DJ narrating like the town's shit going on.
Oh, sure.
Like urban. My brain went right to urban legend. Like urban legend does that for no reason.
Or have you ever seen The Warriors?
Yeah, Warriors
Yeah,
does
The
that as
Warriors has
well.
the DJ that's like telling everyone what's happening in the city. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, another movie we did on the main show.
Okay.
But so yeah, and that that set me up. I'm like, all right, at least myself. I was like, this would be fun. I'm like, I could hear that Selma Blair, like,
Sure.
cool.
She was a Hellboy.
Yeah, I question kind of why this like town in a lighthouse looks like has a indie alt rock at that time DJ. Like, sure,
Because she's playing with the music that she
she wants,
likes.
which is the number one like emo song of that fall going down. She's not like senses fail.
I just love Race Trader, so I liked following their drummer where he went into Fall Out Boy. I thought it was real cool.
Some new hits with Shakira.
Yeah.
But my first note is, oh, Kyle XY. And there's a theme in here, and I kind of mentioned it. So Kyle XY, Alan, you don't look like you're familiar with
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, so Kyle XY was maybe it was ABC Family at that time. I don't know, like an ABC Family CW show. I don't know what channel it was on. I think it was ABC Family. And it was a guy who probably looks nothing like Tom Welling, just handsome white man.
Sure.
Who was an alien who fell to Earth who had no belly button. And it was the No Belly Button show. And it was around this time.
Okay.
I was like, they put this kid in a movie. And for an hour, my notes say, yeah, Kyle XY is going to, blah, blah, blah. So, it's Tom Welling from Smallville.
From Smallville. He's Superman's.
Yeah, it's Superman's. And, he has a fishing boat. I mean, it gives off, I know it's Oregon, but it gives off huge New England vibes. Like, I was like, cool, we're in Rhode Island.
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
Like, especially with like the settlers, like they make this big point of the founding fathers and like, and please correct me if I'm missing anything of this very important information. Sorry, there was a pocket watch was found. Like they're fishing, and there's some like kind of a struggle out there, but not really. Like they lose shit because they disrupt the jewels at the bottom of the ocean.
We see during the opening sequence of the fire and the fog, we see a bag fall off of a boat, off a dinghy, into the ocean, and then later that same said bag is dragging the anchor of Superman's boat. Yeah. With his quippy best friend. It's just like, oh, hell no, Doc.
Yeah, he was like of that time, like classic, like, oh, we have a person of color. Yeah. Well, yeah, like even later in the movie, he even has a line of like, "Nah, I'm from Chicago." Like,
it was Ice Cube saying, "If I had known there were snakes this big, I would have stayed in South Central." Like, it's ridiculous.
Offensive.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's so Spooner. That's his name, Spooner. Davis Ray. I have him because I should have Googled. He looks okay. That's where I know him from. He was in Barbershop.
Yeah. He's a comedian. Yeah.
Yes, he was in. Oh, and 21 Jump Street. Yeah, I know exactly. I was like, he looks so familiar, but he's so young in this movie.
Sure.
And I guess they all are, but I'm sure to you and me, like Tom Welling probably looks the same in my head. Like that man did not age. I don't know what he looks like today, but
he looks like a dude in his 40s now.
Okay.
His Wikipedia picture looks like he may have stormed the Capitol during January 6th.
But... Wait, Alan, stop! I have a note in here. It's about halfway through, and it says this whole town was at January 6th of this whole movie. Just how obsessed they are with who's obsessed with their founding fathers that much? So yeah, that was a note in here. But so we kind of just get very upsetting though, because they do lead us on early. I'm kind of jumping a little here. We do lead us early with the dead dog. Like that's our first inkling that something's wrong. There's that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, hate when movies do that for this movie, especially no reason. No reason.
Also, that dog bit some dude in the face, or some dog bit him in the face, but we don't see that happen. We just see a guy later with a Band-Aid on his face, and it's like,
he's like, stuff's going on, and they're like, oh, don't come with us, sir.
And it's like, yo, talk to that dude. Like, ask him why his face is all messed up.
That's why I enjoy it, because there's so many of those weird little things in this movie. Like, just ask him. Like,
yeah.
So we do get set up with baby Superman, and he's I don't know, like, he's your typical, like, you tell, like, cool guy, like, whatever it is, and he has to go out and get a boat part, and so he's driving in the middle of the night, and just, as you do, not in daytime activity, and he sees a woman in the shadows, and or in the distance, as you said, he has his Newsies hat on, and it's like, your first assumption, oh, it's this your ex, this pretty blonde girl, or whatever, and she gets in the car, and like, they kind of they then just start hooking up.
Well, it's his girlfriend.
It is his current girlfriend, because to me it was like she left and then she's just in town again.
Yeah, because Spooner points out that he's been having a dalliance with Stevie Wayne, the DJ at the Fall Out Boy radio station. I play what I want, Fall Out Boy, P.D. Pablo, whatever I'm in the mood for in 2005. But yeah, we know that the two of them have been boning 1, 2, 3 times. We find out. Yeah.
Okay, I was like, she's here, but big part of my confusion was like, she's your plot device of the whole movie, but she just shows up and just follows Tom Welling the whole time. And my confusion was, oh, she's like back in town. She's like Rambo returning to town, walking through the road, and he just happens to see her.
Sure. I wish Brian Dennehy had showed up and started messing with her so she could burn the town down.
She kind of does.
But no, she was just waiting there for him to pick her up.
Oh, okay. I read that scene wrong.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm the dumb one.
No, I think it was like, she was like, oh, I'm going to get him this time because he's going to see that I'm a foxy lady on the side of the road dressed like a newsie and stuff to pick me up and be like, what's the story? And then find out it's me.
Okay. So that happens because I was like, wow, they really got right to it. I mean, yeah. I mean, if that's their, like, how they're spicing things up, of like, you dress like a newsie, I'll pick you up. What are they at most, 24 in this movie?
Probably, yeah.
Your sex life is not boring at 24.
Yeah, it's all still new.
Yeah, you're not trying to be like, you know what? Here's $30. Go buy something nice. So, also, but we I don't know. They pick up, and then we do cut over. We do get some more like radio banter. I already talked about my confusion of like, why is she running this shit out of a lighthouse? And she gives like nautical updates too.
Yeah,
like, she's a one woman show. Like, really, like, good for her.
And that's true to the original. Adrienne Barbeau was the DJ in the original movie.
Okay, so there was
and she played the music that she loved, which was license-free, boring jazz music.
That's very John Carpenter.
Yeah, for sure.
Wait, you guys want to pay for a song? No.
No, they didn't have money to pay for a song. He'd write it if they wanted to pay for it.
Yeah. But she does say one of the wildest lines, and I am jumping here. She says, "Grab yourself a pitcher of martinis."
Yeah.
I
thought that was crazy.
I like martinis. But has anyone made 3 cups of olive juice, half pint of like 3 pints of beer of vodka, and like a half a cup of vermouth and just a shit ton of olives. Did
The
she not
only
see
time
margaritas?
the only time I can think that a pitcher of martinis may have happened is like Frank Sinatra got wild hair up his ass. It was, you know what? Make me a pitcher of martinis, or you're getting whacked.
That's the only scenario because
She definitely meant to say margaritas, and they
had a
just left it in the movie.
Margaritas. It stands out like a pitcher. I'm like, oh my god! Like,
yeah,
I have 3 martinis and I'm hammered.
yeah,
And I like martinis. If this wasn't a podcast, I'd be like, let me go make myself a dirty. But so we do cut over to the cringiest boat party they've ever had. Spooner, another guy, and these 2 girls who I assume they're all from the island, but they're just like dancing with each other to like I I don't know. It's the first time I've ever really like paid attention. I was like, oh, there's no music playing, so they're just dubbing over whatever they're dancing to.
I thought this was PD Pablo. Yeah, that they
Was
were.
yeah,
That was being played. Yeah, but I agree. They were probably like, no, just pretend that there's a funky beat and go ahead and hit it.
Because he's going like this, and it's like a Girls Gone Wild thing he wants going on too.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, Spooner's like earlier he Superman tells him like, I'm the captain, you're the skipper.
Right.
And he reverses that line to the other guy he brought along. And
who's
then,
like the captain's little brother?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I believe so.
But he doesn't work there apparently.
Right.
And but yeah, that was just like, because we got a lot of boat scene. And it was like every time, like, because they looked like they wanted to be like sexy, and it wasn't, or or funny. I don't know what they were going for.
Their names are Mandy and Brandy. Those aren't our names, and we're not twins. Like, is that a joke? Was that a joke?
She takes a wig off like she's at a bachelorette party. She went on a fucking boat.
It was so weird. There are 3 people in this boat. It's not like they were like, oh yeah, it's gonna be like a coke orgy. Let's go on this boat. No, there's 3 of us.
And like, yeah, and I'm pretty sure like I have water here too. Like they're holding a water bottle too. Like this is fun. But anyway, that scene, we know they're out to sea, and I don't know, we get some more like, I don't know, shit just back from it. Like, I'm gonna get her name, so I stopped saying the girl.
You're talking about Elizabeth?
Elizabeth, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Elizabeth visits her mother, who's a cold-hearted bitch. And she's like, I don't run a hotel. And that's another reason why I thought she was like just like coming in like John Rambo.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But we also find out in all this one shot that Superman, Elizabeth, they're all super rich.
Yeah.
Like Superman goes to his dad, who's working on the ribbon cutting of those statues. I think it was his dad. Or the owner of the boat company. Was it his father?
There's an uncle.
Or his uncle.
Yeah. His uncle Hank.
He was helping him with the ribbon cut. And he goes, why couldn't we use this money on the boat, for the marina? It's clear the marina's like struggling.
Oh, okay. So no, that was the mayor that he was talking to.
Okay. I thought that was his father. And I was like, oh, this guy's just a prick because like you built statues and you have a struggling marina.
Yeah, no, I think Tom Welling's character is just a prick.
Okay.
I think that's just it, because like he's a dick to his current / ex-girlfriend Elizabeth. He's like a dick to Spooner. He's just a dick. And he's our hero.
The only one he's not a dick to is Stevie. And I did want them to kiss. I did want them to kiss.
But just, I don't know if you're a Twin Peaks fan or not.
I am not.
Okay. The guy who plays the mayor is Kenneth Welsh, who was Wyndham Earle in the original Twin Peaks, which is just a little bit of like somebody I got excited to see in a movie.
Oh, it's always fun when you see people in No, I'm not a Twin Peaks fan, but I'm a big Psych fan, and they had that whole Twin Peaks special, Dual Spirals.
No, I don't know
Oh,
what Psych is. So there
oh,
we go.
Psych is the the very goofy comedy version of The Mentalist, basically.
Sure. Okay.
But it came out first, and it's like just all jokes. It's like has nothing to do. It's a procedural that was on USA,
Okay.
but they do a lot of spoofs of like the 80s and 80s and 70s like TV shows or like and big Twin Peaks fans, and they have a whole
Okay.
special episode that is riddled with shit you would recognize.
Nice. Nice.
Highly recommend. Very funny show. But so they're having this party, and the boat is the first thing to get attacked by the fog.
Right. Stevie gets the phone call from Dan the weatherman that there's a fog bank coming in, opposing the wind. It's coming in of its own volition, and the sex boat, is the first thing that gets hit.
Can you call it a sex boat?
I'm pre-sex boat, maybe a wishful sex boat.
They didn't. No one looked like they were having sex.
No, but I mean, Spooner definitely had designs.
Oh, Spooner was gonna sell that video. I mean, this is 2005, late night Comedy Central. You would see Spooner's handheld. But yeah, so they're the first to get hit by this fog, and like you get a ghost knife that just pops up and stabs someone in the back of the head, and you're like, sweet.
Sure.
And then I don't know, the girls just kind of eat it, and seemingly Spooner dies.
Right, right.
I think he dies, like you just kind of see the fog go, and I'm like, oh great, we went with that trope. It was our first kill of a main character. Spoiler alert, he's living.
Yeah.
Completely fine. He hit it in the freezer.
This is also the first of the like defenestrations of throwing somebody through a window that we get in this movie, which is something the ghosts love to do. One of the women gets thrown through a window.
These ghosts are reckless.
Yeah.
And my surprise was pirate ghosts, because like I said, I was not familiar with the movie. Like I knew the fog and I'm sure everyone always confuses. I'm sure a lot of people confuse it with the Mist, which that one's heartbreaking. The Thomas Jane one.
Yeah.
This not so much. But you know what? It reminded me of that first boat, and be like, oh my god, Ghost Pirates is. There's an episode of the Are You for the Dark that clearly mimicked.
Oh really?
The original Fog.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, this reminds me of that. It's just I watched it after that. I did watch after this because I was like, I love Are You for the Dark, and I'll watch that all day. No, that one was like a someone has like trinkets of like ship robbers, of pirates, and then they come and like demonize an old man.
Okay.
I was like, oh, this is pretty gruesome for a child show, actually. Anyway, it has nothing to do with it, but it reminded me of this, of like, cool. But yeah, so that all happens, and then I don't know. Now we go back, and Elizabeth does start to reveal like, they have shower sex.
Yeah.
I think that's important because two things. I mean, it's just the friction of the water doesn't it's not great. It's good in theory.
It's important for two reasons. Shower sex isn't enjoyable for no one.
No.
Second reason,
they're now home and in bed together. But
I think it's also a third reason.
What? The wet
we
hair?
We find out at the end of the movie when she goes back to the sea, she loves fucking in the water.
You're oh my god! She's just a fucking aqua bitch. But so Elizabeth, Superman, they're Aquamaning, and but when she wakes up, because once again, not to always harp on the sex of the movie, No one just bangs and falls asleep like that. You hang out afterwards. But they
No,
do.
she was sleepy. She had a long day.
Yeah. But she wakes right up and has not a dream. She sees water footprints on the top of the on the things, and then she sees dirt footprints, and then she hears a knock at the door, and then she goes outside, and she's all disoriented, and Superman's like, "Get inside. What are you doing?" And she's not like, Nick, I saw these things. I've been having she kind of just tells him like danger's coming. That's about it.
Well, doesn't she tell them she's been having like prescient dreams?
Yeah, she's like kind of clairvoyant.
Yeah.
She's like, but she's not, doesn't tell him what happened in that house. And that's one of those frustrating movie things of like, let me lay it out to you early so I'm not crazy. And,
sure.
And so we got that, and clearly like she's connected. I think that's
and she also she met up with the beachcomber guy who's always metal detecting on the beach, who found a watch, and she looks at the markings, the maker mark on the watch, and she's like, I know that from somewhere.
So that's what I want to bring up.
Yeah.
Is like, it's one of those funny things where, like, of course, everything's in a book you need or right on the internet. That's what she gets up to do in the middle of the night. She goes to fucking Google those markings.
Yes.
It's laid out. That is another mid-2000s trope that all those movies have. Like, the internet exists, so there's a web page about it.
But how wild is it? A, it looks like an Angel Fire website. And B, she just used Google.
Yeah.
Because Google was so new that they were like, yeah, use it in a movie. That's totally fine.
Yeah, it wasn't like searchnet.net.
Yes, exactly. Now it'd be like InterSearchNet world.
I'm actually surprised it wasn't like nautical themed.
Sure.
Like a nautical themed search engine.
Yeah.
Like Mariner's search machine.
That's probably why it was just Google.
Yeah,
there's no good pun that goes
good eye.
With that. Fish eye, the Google for fishermen.
Seriously, but she does that, and I was like, cool. Another thing. I mean, it reminded me of a little later movie, but like how in Paranormal Activity they were just able to, they're just able to Google everything that's happening. They're like, see, that's what's going on here.
Yeah. Or a movie that I love to Strangeland, the D. Snyder vehicle. Have you seen this film?
I have not. I'm familiar with the name, but not.
It's early days of the internet, but everything has a website on that as well, and like everything has a chat room that you can go to and find the information you need to find.
Of course, me and my wife the other night, I for some reason watched The Net.
Okay.
And that's one of them. Like, someone has to build these like graphics.
No, the internet makes them.
The internet makes them.
It's all AI.
So yeah, she does that, and they wake up, and now this day now we're in the full day of like when the shit's about to hit the fan though.
Sure. Yeah.
And my first thing, because we go immediately to Selma Blair.
Mm-hmm.
What mom? Because you learn she's a mother, which I was like, what the fuck? She's a mother.
Yeah.
Like her kid finds some of these trinkets on the side of the road. On the road, it's actually the hairbrush.
Finds it on the beach.
On the beach, not on the road. I'm sorry, listeners.
No worries.
The side of the beach. And it has like oatmeal over it. I know it's supposed to be coral and shit, but it looks like everything looks like it's covered in oatmeal. Finds it, and she wakes him up, but she's wearing like lingerie to bed.
Oh yeah.
Like I was just like, whose mom is just walking around, and they're like, she gets up to make breakfast. Like I'm like, I mean, it's Selma Blair, so she looks good, but it wasn't even that. I was like, oh. No one put like 2 and 2 together that like maybe put shorts on.
Well, I mean, you're making a movie. You want a sexy Selma Blair.
I know. I'm saying with the kid. That's all. That's
she's seemingly indifferent about that child until she isn't.
Well, she's like, I don't know, how old is like he's 7, maybe 8.
Yeah,
She's like,
yeah.
I don't know, he does his own thing. He stays with his senile grandma.
You talk about Aunt Connie? She loves ding dongs and Jeopardy.
Who doesn't?
She seemingly has DVR'd every episode of Jeopardy and is watching them all while she watches this kid.
I was wondering, was like, someone probably could just find out what date this is that there were live episodes of Jeopardy.
Yeah. But the hairbrush has the same maker's mark as the watch did. Dun dun dun.
And she takes it with her, and she takes it to the lighthouse, the studio.
Yeah.
But we cut over, and they're like, Superman, your boat's missing.
Right.
And it sounded like also this wasn't the first time Spooner's taken the boat out.
He's a loose cannon.
He's probably the best character. Him and Selma Blair are probably the best characters. And he's like, to the cops or mayor or whoever the fuck that guy was, he was like, give me like 10 minutes. Let me take another boat out.
Sure.
And we'll find my boat. And to his credit, he finds the boat.
That's the dude with the bite on his face that he doesn't ask why he has a bite on his face.
Yes.
And he's like, let me take your boat. The guy's like, yeah, whatever, man. It's cool.
Sorry. For anyone realize, I watched this once and I wasn't feeling too great today and I was taking notes. So that's kind of some of this lapse in judgment.
Also, this movie's boring as hell, so I can see why you would stop paying attention at different points.
That's why I think this movie would be fun to watch with the group and like do almost what we're doing right now, but like watch it and make fun of it and have a drinking game. Because there is enough. Almost everything we just talked about, we could fast forward through because his ending is just like, but Spooner, he's in the freezer. He's catatonic, and more racism sets in because the cops are like, I got 3 dead people and this guy's alive. We got to arrest him when he's like clearly not the guy who murdered anyone.
Right.
But it really read like, person of color, get him.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And Superman's like, no, we got to clear his name. And then like we spent a good chunk of the movie like that's their mission, to clear his name.
Mm-hmm.
And we get some fucking around.
Well, we should also mention that when Elizabeth realized that she went to the town hall and spoke to like the old man who knows everything about the town, and he like gave her the lowdown on the founding fathers and all that stuff, and of the town of Prince William, or the island of Prince William Island, where the maker's mark on all this silver stuff is from, and that there was a leprosy outbreak on that island.
It's fucking okay. So now there's a leprosy outbreak, and that's why they all look zombified.
Right.
And assumably that's probably why this town ended up killing all those people.
Right. Exactly. And why they felt justified in doing it. Yeah.
Hence the phrase, "What am I, a leper?"
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. This whole thing just is very frustrating.
Did you? I'm very curious about the eyes on the 2 dead women and the captain's little brother on the boat. All their eyes look like they were either sewn shut or carved out.
Well, that was the first thing. They were like sewn shut, right?
Were they sewn shut? Okay.
They looked sewn shut, at least the first guy. I didn't even notice the women.
Okay.
Andy and Brandy. Mandy and Brandy?
Mandy and Brandy.
Mandy and Brandy.
Not their names.
I didn't, but I noticed the first one. I was like, okay, so like they're sadistic. And
right.
It was kind of never done it, because another thing that's goofy about this movie is from kills to even the way the ghosts look and are presented, they all change.
Uh-huh.
So because at first you don't see him, which I get. It's trying to do the slow reveal of like they're really ghouls. But right now, by the way, is where I figured out where we're at in the movie. Is where I figured out that Tom Welling is Superman.
This is your Superman reveal?
Yeah, because I say, wait, he's Superman. That's literally my notes. And then
I couldn't ever remember if he was ever called Superman on Smallville.
Well, I do know Smallville.
Yeah.
And no, that's the point of Smallville is he's never
right,
called
he's
Superman
not Superman
because
yet.
it's before he's Superman. So you have like Lex Luthor, and
Lana.
Yeah. And that's it. And then maybe the last, because I think it was like the thing was like I've only seen a couple episodes, but I think the big things like that last episode of that show is like he gets a cape. I don't even think he puts on the outfit.
Oh, really?
Like I think so.
And someone says you look Superman.
Maybe I don't know. If anyone's listening still and wants to like let us know, let us know.
I like that you assume that people have just abandoned this episode.
I assume they abandon every episode. They're all.
They mentioned Dan the Weatherman, so I can leave now.
We only have an uptick in views because we covered the Bollywood film RRR, and it got like 8,000 views in India.
Oh wow!
And now all of our other shows are like a couple hundred views, and we're like, sweet. So if you're still listening, let me know about Smallville, because if I tell my wife we're gonna start binging Smallville, she's gonna go, get the fuck out of here. Ain't nobody got time for that in 2022. But so the cops have no sympathy, and that's really good point, Alan. Though the symbols though are like the big thing that ties everything together, and like these came from, and once again, there's never been a town that's obsessed with the founding fathers, and you found out no one left. They're the same lineage, it's a long time.
Why would you leave?
It's beautiful
town.
You got the what, Oregon Ducks?
Yeah.
But sorry, I'm trying to figure out where my spot was.
Well, we should also mention that Superman stole the video camera that Spooner was using to film the women.
Yes, which you think would be important, but just gets abandoned.
Well, we see Elizabeth sees on it kills.
No, it's important, but it's not like
right, and then she immediately loses it.
Yes, that's what I mean by that. Like, it's important. Like, so, like, instead of Superman going here, like, let's watch this together.
Right.
He goes, Elizabeth, you figure it out. You're a dumb broad.
You're a woman. You do this.
Yeah, that's what. Not to offend anyone who's saying that, but like that's his attitude.
Yeah.
You do this, and she's like, well, okay. And she also, before that though, when they're in the hospital with Spooner, encounters one of the dead people becoming alive and like telling her like bloodshed or something like that. Like he gets up and walks over and mutters something.
Blood for blood, I think he says. Yeah.
And she's like freaked out, and they're like, why'd you move the dead body? This girl's crazy.
I wanted the god to be like, well, we've got to arrest her now. She's touching bodies.
Yeah. Superman's like, I don't know, I'll get her out of here. And he says, here. That's what he says, here, take this. Which, once again, watch it together. Slow fast forward, watch it together.
Well, she has to watch it alone so she can fall down in his place of business and take a nap underwater in a poet's blouse for some unknown reason.
Well, at first, just the way, like, I guess wasn't paying attention to what, like, she was wearing.
Yeah.
In that scene. Because she had that jacket with those big buttons, so it looks like a Civil War kind of jacket.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
When she was laying in the water, I'm like, are we going back in time? Like, did she like get in? And then I realized like that was just her jacket.
But no, we were going back in time.
But not the way my brain was thinking.
Okay, I got you.
But yes, we were out. She's watching the video and she's like, "Cool, I could prove his innocence." Doesn't put it down. Goes down to the decrepit, boathouse.
Yeah.
Has a big pit for the water for some reason. I
Well,
don't
that's
know.
where the boat pulls in.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
She falls right through it, and I mean, it's algae, seaweed, and she's like being entangled. But we're getting the flashbacks of the. It's actually kind of a nice piece of film. I'll give them that much. This movie that much. It's a nice piece of filmmaking. They're like entangle them back in. You get nice flashbacks of like old timey of like the pillage of the town to her being engulfed, but she escapes. And she's like, shit, I lost this camera.
And I ruined your wall and found this book inside of it.
Yes, the book.
Yeah.
The book, which I still, after watching this once, don't think it's as important as the ending makes it seem.
Well, that's in the original movie, it's a big deal because that's how they find out all of the backstory is from this book. Right. So
yeah, they don't explain that too well.
Right, for sure. Yes, in the land of this movie looking really nice and having a nice cast, they were like, that's enough, right? We don't need to do anything else with this.
They don't explain that at all. It is just, okay, this book, and then we go to a priest character, which she reads a name in the book, and it's the name of a priest.
Right.
And
Father Malone.
Father Malone.
Yeah.
Who is the brother of the mayor.
Mayor Malone. Yeah.
I have Wikipedia up here. Don't think my memory just started working. And so they read it, and the father knows what's coming immediately, though, which is wild. He's just drinking his sorrows away. He's like, I gotta get out of here. This is, and he reads. That's why I said this book kind of goes nowhere. He reads this book, and he's like, yeah, it was written then times. I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, he's like, Father Ricky told me all this shit before. I don't care, man.
Yeah, it's so it's it's like everything else with this movie. It's like there's clearly like more they did to it, and then they just cut around it to meet the like hour and 40.
100%. And God bless him for cutting the movie down to that small. I did not want to watch 2.5 hours of this film, but
we just watched for our main show, we just watched The Wizard. The 80s
oh sure.
Yeah. And when I was reading like did research that, like there's a 2.5 hour cut of that movie, and I'm like, an hour and a half is it's still boring.
It might be too much.
Yeah, so
well, I watched this movie and Saw 2, also a film from 2005, in the same night because we're doing that for a upcoming episode of Werewolf Ambulance. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to survive this.
No, that's a long night for you.
That's a rough night.
I think I like Saw 2.
Oof, I'd be surprised.
They blend.
Sure. It's the same movie over and over and over.
Yeah, I remember seeing Saw 2 in the theaters and enjoying it, and I've seen it since, and I don't know. Anyway, it just has the cringiest kill of the needles.
Yeah. It's not even a kill.
No. She just falls in him. And
she just falls into him.
That's the worst thing that's ever happened in this whole franchise.
The scariest thing in that movie is how ill-fitting Donnie Wahlberg's suit is. Spoiler alert for that upcoming Werewolf Ambulance episode.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, God. Well, this isn't about Saw 2, but
no, sorry.
That's a rough night.
Yeah, that was a rough.
That's a rough night. I'll give you that. So, yeah. So we're here. The father is just not the priest. The father is just not helping. And I do have one note here, and I hope you remember it because we do cut right back to they go back to the hospital.
Yeah,
and it's for some reason everyone in the scene is the worst actor, like the worst acting possible in this moment.
Okay,
I don't ever remember the scene because nothing really happens, but it was like Elizabeth is horrible. Superman's horrible, like just the way they deliver the lines. It's like
this must be like when she gets the like blood for blood guy comes and talks to her and all that. Yeah,
like,
no, it's terrible.
Book. And I'm like, oh, the acting hasn't been bad. In this scene, I'm like, oh, this is rough.
It was almost like they were like, we're going to cut for lunch, except you guys are going to stick around and do this. And they were like, but it's hot dog day. I wanted to go get hot dogs. And now I have to stay and do this dumb scene.
It's hot dog day. But we're in the good stuff now. I mean, use the word good how you want. We're in the good stuff now. The fog's picking up, and I would say this is when you just kind of start seeing like more shit to start going down.
Sure, you get the ghost warriors from that one Lord of the Rings movie show up.
Yeah, there's a lot of ghosts. There's a lot of ghost pirates in this.
Yeah.
But you get the guy with the cheek on his face.
Yeah,
who should just be murdered at this point. He starts having like a tug of war. He's finding shit on the beach. Oh, it's not him.
Sure.
Yeah,
it's the beachcomber. It's
the beachcomber.
Yeah,
he's finding shit on the beach, and then he starts like he picks up a real thick rope that is clearly, and it's just like having a tug of war with it. He's gone.
I really like this scene, and that's because one of my favorite books is a book called The Fisherman by John Langan. It's a great horror story if you've never read it, if you're into horror books. But it's all about this like fisherman who's fishing for something very large, and he's got these giant ropes and the ocean is black, and like I was like, oh, this imagery reminds me of that. I'm enjoying this scene because of that.
Well, that's cool. Okay, so we have a good scene for you.
Yeah. But it's like a total throwaway. Like no one, like Stevie's son watches this, and his reaction is like, huh, weird. That old man died.
Yeah. Well, a little before that, I should know. This is how like sporadic and like I feel like meaningless everything in this movie is. Selma Blair has a sporadic fucking fire in the middle of her station because of the comb. So she does call her son to be like, don't go by the water. Like she kind of puts 2 and 2 of like, this did this is bad. I'm coming home. And that's a little before that, but it is I'm using air quotes for anyone listening, important to her shit. But after that, immediately, you got him with that scene. I think we see like 1 or 2 more people eat it by the fog.
Jan the Weatherman.
Yeah.
Yeah, gets killed by the fog.
And then everything just starts coming after Stevie. Because and her son. Because the grandma has the best death by just or aunt has the best death by just frying up. I have an Aunt Connie too. Frying up, like burning, and I was like, all right, that's sweet. I thought that was pretty like fun.
I have the note she dies as a smoke mummy.
That's exactly what it is. That's a smoke mummy, and
she's doing the dishes, and a hand comes up out of the sink and like taps her, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm a smoke mummy."
And that's what. And the kid sees it, and like he's now like, "What the fuck?" But immediately cut over, and these ghosts are just trying to make this boy an orphan because Selma Blair gets caught in the middle of the fog, and her car shuts down. She's like, "Fine," and then a truck just murks her. And she rolls down a cliff into the water. Completely fine.
Yeah.
Into the water, not unconscious at all.
Yeah.
Or broken leg, nothing. And she's like, all right, gotta get out of here. And ghosts are kind of getting her, but she escapes. Yeah. And I was like, they're trying to make this boy just an orphan. I mean, you know they weren't because they gave her the kid. Like it's 2005, no one's taking the risk of killing 2 caretakers.
Sure. Yeah.
But then we kind of go back to the main like our main characters, and they're running around and like, I gotta get people now, we gotta save people, the fog's coming, and once again they still don't really like focus on getting Spooner. Like Spooner's doing his own thing, like he's trying to get the fuck out of here.
He goes in and he's like, hey priest, do you want to come with me? I'm leaving town.
Yeah. The priest's like, can't. I'm drunk. And But the wildest thing to me, and maybe you explain it because is they're going to save people before they leave town, and
right, because Stevie puts out the call that her son needs help because all of a sudden she cares about her son.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was like, he just was like, I gotta go find this girl that I'm kind of flirting with.
Yeah.
Son? Okay,
but so Superman and Elizabeth have to go back and save the day.
That makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so they go back, they get the kid. I mean, it's a pretty cool shot of like the ghost kind of like hear Johnnying it and get in, but they don't. I don't. The ghost logic doesn't make fucking sense in this movie.
That ghost is a straight up ring wraith from Lord of the Rings. It's 100% like they just like cut and pasted it into this film.
Yeah, it's Lord of the Rings. It's very that first Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then Elizabeth's like, well, we got to save my mom, who's just been like the biggest like asshole.
Who I have not cared about up until this point.
Yeah. Yes. And that kind of just slows them down, and then they get locked in the town center.
Yeah, mom gets sucked out a window by a ghost.
Another window suck.
Yeah, and I'm wondering is because in like 18 blobbity blop, glass was probably really expensive. So these ghosts are probably like, we are fucking them up. Like the bills they're gonna have after this.
Man, insurance. There was no recorded hurricane. You can't prove this.
We're going to break all their mirrors. They're going to have 7 years bad luck.
We're going to destroy these statues of these pillagers.
Oh my god, that was so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
So we get the big flashback now. When they rescue Stevie's kid, Andy is the kid's name, because of course it is. Because what else would a child be named? Yeah. And they have to they hit a boat and it knocks them all unconscious. And this is when Elizabeth remembers all the stuff that happens with the founding fathers killing the lepers on the boat and stealing all their stuff.
We get the reveal, right?
Like, which was the reveal at the beginning of the movie. So I'm like, what are we?
Yeah, I knew the founding fathers were shady. Like, but she's like, oh my god, this town was built on blood. I'm like,
and it's like, lady, welcome to America.
Yeah, yes. And once again. Now, you know what? Now put this in New England. Put this movie in New England.
Yeah.
I know the original.
But then you would have had to kill a bunch of indigenous people, and then it wouldn't have hit as well with the. They would have been like, "Oh, well, it's just indigenous people they're killing."
Ooh, so I was thinking of the British.
Sure.
That would be a real rough look. It'd be like, hey guys, don't worry. In like 20 years, we're going to get a movie called Prey. It's going to redeem all of this stuff.
But right now, just take these blankets.
Yeah. But so, yeah, they get the reveal and they're like, oh no, you lied. And like, I do actually like the mayor in his like pleading moment.
Yeah.
Which I laughed out loud when he hands him a fucking contract.
Yeah. A ghost contract, by the way.
What is this, SpongeBob? That always happens in SpongeBob with the Flying Dutchman. Like SpongeBob, like
yeah,
pulls out a fucking contract. And so anyway, they're in the like the town center or the hall, but they find their way out and they chase down the mayor, who still has lineage to the founding fathers.
Sure.
That's
why.
And I actually agree with that mayor being like, I had nothing to do with this, man.
We're cool.
But he's like, sure, your contract. And then they just light him on fire.
Yeah, and the contract lights up and he burns to death.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth watches.
That was pretty great. Like in a movie that's bad.
Yeah.
I'd rather you go so bad that we could do what we're doing tonight and like laugh our asses off.
Yeah.
Instead of just being so boring where you're like, I'm going to take a nap now.
We also get the kill of Father Malone, brother of the mayor, in the town hall when the ghosts break all the glass out of the display cases and then make the glass spin around the father and then shoot through him. And I was like, what are we doing? They're making like Rube Goldberg deaths now? Like,
yeah, this movie has everything. It has everything. I don't know. I feel like we put all these deaths together.
Yeah.
You'd be like, it's a nice YouTube video to watch.
Yeah.
Like, sure. It's like, has anyone, I don't know if you guys covered it on Werewolf, but it's like, has anyone ever recommended to you, like, The Ghost Ship, like 2005 or 3?
Oh, it's one of the first movies we did.
Okay. Yeah. That's one of the movies I recommended. And you're like, no, I don't like it. Like, yeah, but that opening 10-minute scene, I'm like, yeah. After that, I got to watch a whole fucking movie.
That's abysmal. And in 2000 and like that era, they loved slicing people in half.
Yeah,
it was like every film, like The Cell, and all these movies did, where they're just like, oh yeah, we're gonna slice everybody in half. 13 Ghosts does it. Yeah.
Oh, so, like, 13. I just keep tangenting on other horror movies. 13 Ghost movie. Another one where I remember not liking it because, like, as a kid you have strong opinions, but also sometimes they're wrong. I revisited it last, like, Halloween season. I remember going, yeah, I don't get the cult following of this one for me.
No,
it has it, but yeah, there is a cool split in half with. But yes, that time I'm surprised no one got cut in half in this movie.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I kept waiting for. There kept being scenes where like Elizabeth would run out of a place or into a place, and there would just be these like Hellraiser hooks on chains hanging. And I'm like, yo, is she gonna get killed by a sex demon? What is happening here? Yeah, Jesus wept.
I was just thinking of that. I was just gonna mention that because, like, especially like. Circling, going back far, like when they go down in the boat and they find Spooner in the freezer, I'm like, I don't think fishermen hang hooks up like this. Boats rock.
Yeah. Oh, just a hook at face height.
Just like,
where your eyes live.
Now that you put that out, there had to have been just a kill planned for a hook. There's
maybe that's why they didn't bother asking that guy why his face was fucked up, because they all get hit in the face with hooks all day long.
They're like, we store hooks in the wrong way. We don't have good safety. We don't have good hook safety.
So Elizabeth sees the mayor burned up, and then she sees the ghost that is her ghost husband.
Yeah. So
and
we are.
She's like, end. Oh, ghost daddy.
Oh, Mom, why? So we're at the end, and yeah, they see, and it's in like a cemetery-ish kind of place too. Like,
I think it's a straight up cemetery.
Okay, it is a cemetery. Yeah. And they're watching from afar, and at first you are like, because it's her and Superman, and they're watching this all go down.
Yeah,
and it's culty, and there's a lot of fucking ghosts. And at first I'm like, how does no one see these two people? But then. He's like, all right, let's go. They're distracted. She's like, nah, I gotta finish this off. She didn't say it, but like, Ghost Daddy, who, once again, Alan, why didn't they make him a very very handsome looking man though?
I don't know. I mean, a guy 30 years her senior.
It's not even the age. It's like it is the age, because like my fucked up brain went to like, oh, back in then she was probably like 15.
Yeah, for sure.
But
when she would probably be like, thank God this man's dead, I don't have to be with him anymore.
Yeah, but like he is a rough looking older man, and she's like so they go together, and you're like, oh, that's his love, and they start making out, and then she's into it,
and then she's a ghost,
and then she ghost just gets fucking absorbed into the fog by the ghost. And Tom Welland's like, man, that might be the first time I called him by his real name this whole podcast. He's like, man, I thought I had something with this manic girl who's always trying to run away from my hometown.
And yeah, that's really the reveal that like the dead was just looking for his love.
So stupid.
And
so unbelievably stupid.
And like not. So that's not the original ending.
No, God, no.
Okay,
no.
That was very. I mentioned early there were. This isn't in any episode. That was very. Are you afraid of the dark? That episode.
Okay.
You know where it's like, well, this is for kids, so let's make it palatable that it was about love or some shit.
Yeah.
Not in the 2005 fucking The Fog remake, and that was baffling, and just how she gets absorbed by that fog.
So dumb.
It's so dumb. And I don't know, they go back to their lives, the fog appends, and almost everyone you like is alive.
Yeah.
Like there's no bad casualties.
It's only the B team that died in Elizabeth. So
yeah, but even Elizabeth, like her family lineage is just wiped off the face of the earth to our knowledge.
Well, also, like, there's a point where we see the town when they go back to get mom out of the town hall, and like all the cars are on fire and everything's fucked. But like the next day, they're like, "Yeah, we got that cleaned up. It's no problem."
Yeah, it like next day they're probably like calling FEMA, like, "Yeah, we had a hurricane.
Yeah,
it's not on a Doppler."
Wait, you guys, are you sure you didn't have a leopard ghost infestation? Because it feels like a leopard ghost infestation.
Ooh, your mayor didn't sign that insurance. But
and then Dum Superman takes the seagrass, his boat out to sea, and throws the book into the ocean.
That's why earlier I was like, they make this book important, like because of the throw. Like I forgot about the book by that point.
I'm pretty sure he just hated books.
He was like, "Fuck, I don't read. I fish." And now I guess he's gonna be I guess he's gonna raise Stevie's kid.
Right. It's probably
The Fog 2.
Revenge of Aunt Connie.
Aunt Connie just coming back being like, who won the streak in Jeopardy? She was in the middle of the tournament of champions, just fucking furious.
I didn't stick around through the credits to see if there was a stinger or not at the end.
I didn't. I have the Wikipedia up. So
I'm assuming there's not.
The next day, the survivor troops and Steve reflects on the night's events with her listeners. Yeah, the last thing in the Wikipedia, which usually puts the stinger in.
Yeah.
But I don't know how too many people are writing on the Fog wiki. Nick throws, the book. Yeah, I mean, Alan, generally, like, fun movie you picked.
I'm glad you liked it.
In the sense of like for the point of what we do, it's a fun one. We don't review on the show, but I don't recommend it. My one recommendation if anyone's inkling to watch this, is get a group of friends and a couple of beers or whatever you're drinking and like make jokes to it.
Yeah, I mean, I recommend watching the 1980 John Carpenter Deborah Hill joint.
I will tomorrow.
Yeah.
I actually have to check if I own that because like I was buying so many Blu-rays last year through just like Scream Factory, and they had a big John Carpenter sale.
Yeah.
But I don't. And all of my Blu-rays are in storage because I don't have my home.
Okay.
But I did grab all my horror ones when we moved out because tis the season. But yeah, I don't know. It was really fun. Is there anything that we like kind of missed? I mean, I know like there's just so much like goofy shit in this movie. It's like I do have one thing I want to add before we wrap up. There's this scene right after the mom got sucked to the window.
Mm-hmm.
The ghost does look at the fucking camera like the crypt keeper.
Yeah.
He's like, ha.
Or like Urkel, like he should have said, "Did I do that?" I will say, like, I watched this with my partner, and I think she stuck through like the first like 3/4 of the movie and was like, "This is awful," but she nailed it when she said, "This is the CW does John Carpenter's The Fog."
Yeah, I mean,
it's 100% a CW TV show.
That's this era of
and the cast. Yeah, feels very CW.
Yeah, I had to look up who Elizabeth was, and I was like, oh, she's the girl that gets taken in Taken.
Right, and she's in Lost as well.
So
yeah,
network television. Yeah, that era is very they will. I'll say this as someone who is a even though I have a horror podcast who does get spooked by things. These are the best like I could put on and fall asleep to. My wife absolutely hates horror movies, and I was explaining this in like the humor sense, and she's like, "Oh, that could be really fun." And
sure.
I said, let's wait a while
because you don't want to go back to this well too soon.
We're getting together Friday to watch movies like this. I can't put this on and be like, oh. I'll plug the podcast, but you guys listen, watch the episode.
Yeah, there's nothing else I can think of that we really missed of it.
Yeah,
it doesn't hold a candle to the original. Is so much more fun.
I don't think it holds a candle to like. There's lesser movies that are more worth your time.
I was also thinking about like this was a bit of a fallow period for horror movies. Like there was not a ton of great, especially American horror coming out. Like there was still good like Korean and Japanese stuff that was happening at this point in time.
Well, American horror was this moment was either it was the big remake boom. Yeah, it was like this. And then even though the one that came to my mind mentioning of the Japanese horror, because it was the remake because it is boring, is like it was something like like Dark Water. Was it Dark Water? Right? It was the one with
the Jennifer Connelly one.
Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah,
I actually saw that on the like HBO or something today, scrolling through, and I was like, oh, that was incredibly a boring remake, and that was horror at this time. It was torture porn. Non-original American. I should say what was easily accessible. Non-original American horror, or like good Japanese horror,
And I think like The Descent came out in 2005, which is like a classic movie.
Good original horror. Watch the unrated version for anyone that.
Yeah,
the director's cut.
The Devil's Rejects, House of Wax, Hostel. Like, there's just a ton of. Wolf Creek was really good from 2005.
Oh yeah,
Australian serial killer movie.
Releases them and catches them. So yeah, just a weird time because this was the one. That's why we started our conversation. Said I was surprised I didn't see it because this would have been one of those ones that like you're being that age, right? This is a movie for middle school kids. CW, the CW.
100%.
And that time was like, hey, it's Friday night. Like, let's go to a 7:00 showing, maybe 8 of whatever horror movies out or big movies out. And that theater is going to be unbearable to anyone that actually thought they were going to enjoy it. And me. Unbearable to me. I'm a drill sergeant in the movie theater with silence. But even then, little 12-year-old telling you to be quiet.
Right.
But yeah, that was but yeah, no, great pick. Anything to plug? Once again, thanks for coming on. I know we already plugged at the top of the show, Werewolf, but
check out Werewolf Ambulance. Check out my old podcast that is still going. I used to do a podcast called Marveling at Marvel's Marvels. And those guys are still doing that.
Oh, great.
And it's really fun. If you like Marvel comic book stuff, it's a good way to get down with that stuff.
Perfect. Everyone, check that out. You can always find us here at Flyover State of Film, Flyover State of Fear, and stay frightful. All right, Welcome to Flyover State of Fear.